about goal setting. Now, this is probably one of the things that I'm biggest on, as well as gratitude, is goal setting. There's been several studies on goal setting in the past. The guy who wrote a productivity project book, no, not him, somebody, yeah, it was him actually, Cal Newport. He's a really good author. His books are really funny, which is good to be able to read a self-development book which is funny. And he's written one called Finish, and it's all about actually setting goals and actually achieving them, which is a big problem, right? Lots of people set goals, they think, I want to do this, I want to do this, and they don't actually achieve it. Especially New Year's resolutions. Lots of people set New Year's resolutions thinking, I'm going to get fit this year, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to do this, and then by February, March time, they've kind of run out of steam and they don't end up achieving their goals. So how do you achieve your goals? This is a really big topic, but we're going to go into the basics, which is actually how do you set effective goals. Now, the way I would do it is, and obviously if you've got other techniques, then do use those. And let me stop there for a second. Jazz, hope you're enjoying your trip. Are you in Pakistan at the moment? Jeet, good to see you, bro. Gurmeet, good to see you. And Sasri Akal. I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are enjoying your Monday. Gurvinder, good to see you. Core Bakes, good to see you too. So the first thing is, I usually say to people is, I had somebody a business owner come to see me on Saturday, and he was talking to me, and he's actually giving up his business, he's taking a break from it, and he was like, I want to talk to you about what I should do next. And I said to him, if you could wave a magic wand, or a rabbit, if you could wave a rabbit, and you could be doing anything you wanted, you had all the time in the world, all the money in the world, what would you be doing? Now, Jazz is one example, right? He's living his dream. He's promoting Kirtan. He's doing something meaningful, something purposeful. He's like one of the last samurais equivalent in terms of the music world. So he's doing that. But for you, what is that? What is your dream? What would you do if you could do anything? What would you do if you could add all the money in the world and all the time in the world? And it really is just sit and watch Netflix, because that's not very purposeful. Usually people want something. They'd want to do something with their life. So what is that if you could do anything? Just forget about any limitations you have that people have imposed on you, or education, or anything that you may feel is a limitation. And then you want to look at that magic wand or magic rabbit. You want to look at that from a health perspective. How would your health be perfect? So for me, it might be, I weigh this much, I can run a 5k in this much time, I can lift this much, and I stay disease free up until this age, and I die at this age, right? So that would be a health goal. And then the next one might be professionally. What do you want to do with your life? How do you want to contribute to the world? What do you want your life's work to be? And then the other one might be like family. So I want to stay happily married until the day I die, right? So that's a goal for me. I want to have a good relationship with my kids, and I want my kids to be Gursik. So those are like family goals. And then spiritual goals, what do you want to achieve with that? So you've got to have this magic wand thinking, because unless you know where you're going to end up, then there's no chance of you getting there. And even if you did get there, how would you know? So first thing is, you've got to know where you want to end up. And then you've got to write that down, because it's all good having a thought, but actually you've got to put pen to paper and write this down. So what do you want? Magic wand thinking or magic rabbit thinking for all of these kind of, for me, it's kind of key 4 areas, which is health, family, work, and spirituality, right? Or faith. So it might be more areas for you, might be other things that you're very passionate about, like charity or another key area. So you've got to look at all of those. Once you've got that written down, then that's your guiding star. That's your star that's going to align you with every decision you make. So next time, like, if Manpreet messages me and says, oh yeah, can we do a collaboration? I've got to think, okay, well, that would fit into the work bucket, and in the work bucket, would collaborating with Manpreet fit with my vision of what I want to do? Because if she's a martial artist and I'm trying to promote something else, although it would be helpful for her, it may be better for us to work in a different way by me just promoting her page, as opposed to doing a collaboration and taking out several days and all of that kind of stuff to do that when it isn't aligned with the mission that I'm trying to achieve. So that's just an example, right? So you've got to look at that, and into that comes time management. So you've set your magic wand thinking for all the key areas of your life, and then the next thing to do would be identify a timeline. So if you're thinking, I want to own work-wise, you're thinking, I want to own 10 properties and be a property developer, then that's probably not something you're going to do in a year unless you've got a lot of equity or a lot of cash. So you may think, okay, well, over the next 30 years, I want to own 10 properties. So I have one, and based on the rate of property value increases, if it's going up 10% every year, then by the 5-year mark, I'll be in a position to buy 2 more, take the equity out and buy 2 more. And then by the 5 years from that mark, I'll have enough equity from those 3 properties in order to buy the next 3 or the next 2 or the next 5. And then the next 5 years, and by 30 years, I'll be in a position where I have 10 properties. I'll be earning enough income, reoccurring revenue from those 10 properties, rental income to live a comfortable life. If my outgoings are this much, and the rest I can use to pay down my debt. So that would be an example, right? If you wanted to be a property developer, but it's going to be different for whatever your mission and whatever your contribution is that you want to make to the world. So once you've got that, once you've identified, okay, so this is my magic wand thinking, and then this is my timeline. And your timeline, what happens if you miss it, right? Like I might set a goal, I want to have 1 million Instagram followers, so I might work towards that, and I set a goal for a year's time, but that's probably unrealistic considering the growth that I'm having. These types of things can snowball, but you want to be conservative and realistic in your measurement of time. So if I say I want to be have 1 million Instagram followers so I can have a greater impact on the world by tomorrow, it could happen. Like if I went on, I don't know, the Ellen show, or Oprah Winfrey did a segment on me, it could potentially happen. But, or I, like beat Khabib next month, maybe Justin Poirier backs out and I jump in and I beat him by some fluke. He just collapses and I win. So that would be an example, and then I'll probably get 1 million followers from that, right? But it's unrealistic. That's kind of like I don't know, pigs flying type scenario. So with a realistic timeline, what are you looking to achieve? And then I could think, okay, 10 properties in 30 years, and then how am I going to do that? By 5 years, what do I need to have done? By 3 years, what do I need to have done? By 1 year, what do I need to have done? Monthly, what do I need to be looking at? And then you can go down as much as you want. I would probably say yearly is a good mark, or monthly is a good mark. But some people who are, especially in the finance world, they will go down to daily targets and hourly targets. And that's what keeps you on track. So just thinking, oh yeah, you know what, it'd be nice to have this in my life or to have achieved this in my life isn't gonna work. You have to actually take action. You have to create a plan. So that's, in order to have a plan, you have to know what you want and you have to know what time frame, and then you can make a plan according to that. So now let's just use that property example, 10 properties in 30 years. Now with those 10 properties in 30 years, in 5 years I'm going to need at least 15 properties, in 5 years I'm going to need at least 3 properties in order to get to that. So you'd backtrack, right? 30 to 20 to 10 to what do you need in 5, what do you need in 3, and 5 years you can achieve a lot. So once you've backtracked from there, then you got to think, okay, well, if I need to buy 1 property a year for the next 3 years, how am I going to do that? So you think, okay, well, I need to earn this much in order to put a deposit on property number 1, and I need to earn this much in order to put property and take equity out of property number 2. So if I do that, then what am I going to give up? That's the next part. That's the thing that a lot of people slip up on. I slip up on. So if you can hear me okay, just give me a heart so I know everyone can hear me okay. Sidhu, good to see you on here. Sachin, Gurinder, Jar77 Bam, Gurjot, Mandit, Kulbir, Rishpal, Sangha, Share Skincare. I love your posts, by the way. Seek Forgiveness, Parvinder, Sasrikal, brother. Jazz, Jatinder. So yeah, give me a heart if you can hear me okay, and let's crack on. So thanks to everyone who's showing the love and smashing the heart button. And if you have a question, or if you can hashtag live if you're watching this live, hashtag replay if you're watching this replay, because I do go back and comment on every single person who leaves a comment. So I get back in touch with them. And obviously if you have a question and you don't want to share it, then you can just DM me and we can get answered on the live chat. So we talked about magic wand thinking, we've talked about time frame, and then the third thing is we've talked about tracking or making a plan essentially. So going back in that time frame and thinking, what are my targets for 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, 6 months? In the next 6 months, what do I need to have done? And then from there, the fifth thing is you have to look at what you're going to give up. Because if you're going to own a property in the next 10 years, a property in the next year, and you need to earn £20,000 in this year, then that's saving £2,000 a month. Now, if your salary isn't £2,000, then first you have to get it there. Then you have to look at what your expenses are, what can you live off. So if your salary is £3,000 and you're living and your expenses at the moment are £3,000, you'd have to cut them down to £1,000 in order for you to achieve your goal and or achieve your dream. It's not like magic thinking. It's not like, these things don't just happen for most people. Most successful people set goals, and in order to achieve those goals, they stick to a plan, right? It doesn't just they don't just wake up and everything's just hunky-dory for them and everything's just worked out. It can happen in some cases, but rarely does it happen. So then you got to think, okay, well, if I get my expenses down to £1,000, I save £2,000 in a month. 12 months from now, I'm going to be able to put a deposit down and buy the property. And then you're obviously doing other things in between, like looking for properties, networking, so you're speaking to surveyors and people like that to get an idea of where is a good place or what kind of property is good, speaking to estate agents, building a network there, so you're looking at yield and return on investment, that type of stuff. So that would be the smart way of doing things, the actual proper way of doing things, rather than just thinking, I'd really like to have a million Instagram followers, I'm just gonna do something, post occasionally and hope things work out for me. So life, unfortunately, doesn't work out like that for most people. So once you've got that and you've figured out what you're going to give up, because that will probably mean, if you're going to live in £1,000 per month, probably means you won't be eating out, probably means you won't be going on any holidays, probably means you won't be going to the cinema or going anywhere really apart from work and home and anywhere else that's free, like the park. And what if you live in London? £1,000 in another place is probably a lot of money, but in London it's not a lot of money. And then you've got to look at, so how can you meet that target? And then you save £2,000 a month and you don't do any silly things like start trading in Forex and all crazy things like that where you can lose all your money. So provided you do that and you put the money aside, then in a year's time you should hit your goal. And if you can hit your 1 year goal, then you do the same thing for your 3 year, 5 year, 10 year goal. But you can only have that if you clearly define your purpose and then you work towards it. So that's a step for goal setting. And this system applies to anything. So if someone comes to me and say they want to lose 25 kilograms, I think, okay, well, we know from an evidence-based perspective that if you do intervention like exercise and healthy eating, you can lose 2 to 4 pounds per week. So if someone's losing 2 to 4 pounds, let's say conservatively they're losing 2 pounds per week, then that would be 10 pounds per month. So if they've got 50 pounds to lose, then you're looking at £10 per month, £50. You're looking at 6 months it's going to take them, right? If they stick on track for 6 months. So what do they need to do month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6 in order to hit that target? And there's going to be adjustments that need to be made. But if you've got a system, then no one's going to lose 25 kg unless they do something crazy like go on a smoothie diet, but then they gain it all back. So it's a complete waste of time. Like, these things where you just take drinks, have shakes and don't eat food. It's just ridiculous. But it's another point. So if you do it in a healthy way, it will be consistent weight loss, and you'll consistently lose weight, and you'll continue to gain the benefits in terms of your health, and you won't go boom and bust. So that's the proper way to do it, but that's going to be over a time frame. There's not going to be any quick fix for that. So it works for health, and then you'd look at other areas of your life, like marriage, for example. If you want to have a good relationship with your wife, not that I have a terrible relationship with my wife or the best relationship with my wife. I mean, we have a good relationship, but when you talk about relationships, you're always a bit reluctant because you think, oh yeah, you don't want to give people the image or portray the false image that you have a perfect marriage, because we do have conflict and yeah, lots of times, especially at certain time of the month, we do have some conflict, and that's important for me to state that as a disclaimer. So then I think, okay, well, in order for us to improve our marriage, what do I need to do? So I want to be married till the day I die. So let's say average life expectancy is 73 years old for a male in the UK. So I've got 40 years left. So if I've got 40 years left, and what kind of things are going to potentially end my marriage, and what kind of things are going to help me have a stronger, healthier relationship. So spending time with my wife, listening to her, not being rude to her, and my wife's quite low maintenance, thankfully, so I don't need to buy her anything or anything like that, but that kind of stuff would be helpful in our relationship. And then the things that won't be helpful is the opposite of all of that, right? If I'm rude to her, if I'm, not trustworthy, if I lie to her, if I, have loads of fights with her or something. So then I need to make a plan of, actually, how am I going to do this? So in order for me to do that, I think, well, in order for me not to be ratty and to be patient, I need to exercise. I need to look after my mental health. I need to do my gratitude journaling, because that makes me a better husband. And so then I can do the things that I need to do to maintain our marriage. Now, so you can apply this principle to any area and any goal that you have, but this is the system. And this is the system that I've used to achieve lots of goals, and sometimes it will come a lot quicker than you expect. You might expect over the next year, and it might happen in 3 months, which is great. You just scratch off that goal and you create a new one. But this is a very effective system, and if people knew this, I think they would get a lot closer to achieving a lot more goals that they have. So I hope it helps you. If you're looking at setting goals, then this is a system to do it. If you've got any questions, then do DM me. I will try, and if you're interested, let me know, and I'll try and make a ebook so that you can just follow the system via ebook, as opposed to trying to follow it along in the video. And I'll talk you through it in detail in the ebook. So if you're interested, DM me and ask me to make an ebook, because it takes time, right? So it's all about what fits in with the mission, and it does fit in with my mission, but it's got to be of value to you. So let me know if it's of value to you, and thank you very much for tuning into the live chat. Love you all, and we'll catch you on next week's team call.